Y'all know the streets are talking all the time about relationships.
Always.
Every time I scroll on Instagram, some is a new relationship guru, some self-declared person spitting that Instagram knowledge, and I will caution people, talk to somebody with some letters behind their names, if you really want advice, or our elders. I think, nothing can substitute just days spent on this earth, and, someone who's been married 60 plus years. So with somebody who I think has always had really interesting thoughts on self-love and being self-full, with just you by yourself, is Tracee Ellis Ross. So she's sharing some thoughts on why she is choicefully single. So I want you guys to take a listen, and we can talk about it on the other side.
I, like many of us, was taught to grow up dreaming of my wedding, not of my life, and also waiting to be chosen. Well, here's the thing. I'm the chooser, and I can choose to get married if I want to, but in the meantime, I am choicefully single, happily, gloriously single. And I do wish there were more examples. So many people ask the question, have you ever thought about having children? My child gave my life meaning. I'm like, are you saying my life is not meaningful?
Okay, so I thought Tracee Ellis Ross raised a really good point, because even in society, it's like men are the choosers. I have been, quote unquote, chosen before. I don't know that I've ever chosen someone else. I have recently, but it's, we're not in an exclusive relationship, but I felt like, oh, I would choose you. And that's so important for us as women, like, do you choose me? And do I choose you, and coming together under that auspice? And who did the choosing, do you think, with you and your husband?
In my relationship, my husband,
He chose
I would
you.
say.
Your husband
Yes.
chose you. In your relationship.
This is a funny story. So I've always had a crush on my boyfriend. Like, I've known him for years, and he would DJ at different spots. And so I would literally drag my friends and be like, we're going uptown. We're going all over the city. He's DJing here. He's DJing there. And this boy paid me no mind. Like, he'd be like, hey. And I'd be like, damn. Like, he's not seeing it. And then one day we hung out, and I saw him as a friend. And I'm just talking like we're friends, literally going on my rants about how I feel about monogamy, and just like, he's a girlfriend. And he was like, I wanted to show you that the way you were thinking was really twisted. And so I wanted to be with you and show you like what a good relationship could look like. So in a way, he chose me, even though I stalked him.
But that is something about, I think younger women today, like younger women will do the choosing. And I'm in between these generations where I feel like I am an analog girl living in a digital world, like you, because when I'm doing the choosing, the dynamic is off now. If I feel like the man in this position, you might feel a little emasculated at times, like, you choose me, make it clear, make it obvious, slap me across the face with it. Now, one thing I will say about exposing yourself to somebody in that way, one thing I learned about myself, I can say some ugly things when I am so open and honest and in love with someone and they hurt my feelings. The things that I can spew, I have surprised myself because I am so deeply hurt. I'm curious, in your marriage, can you recall a time where you did or said something to your husband, it was below the belt, it was so hurtful, and you wish you could take it back? Did that ever occur? And if it did, how did you get past it?
See, you would have to ask him.
Fair
Because
enough.
I don't believe that I ever did that, because I'm very mindful about the things that I say. And maybe, like I'm saying, I used to be a programmer, so maybe it's just logic in terms of the way that I think. Because I also, like, if I'm feeling something, and say if you might get a tinge of jealousy about something or anger, to me, that's the best time to grow. If you take a moment to really think about why you're angry or why you're jealous or whatever these feelings are, sometimes you come up with a different answer. It's not really against the person that said something, but it could be something that you don't have in your life or you're lacking, that you're jealous. Not so, why are you jealous of this person? If you want to be like that, then do something so you can reach that goal. And those are my in terms of how to manage the way that I feel about things.
And you said a key word there, being logical. And emotions are not always logical.
Right. Yes.
Something a dear friend of mine, Latasha, tells me is be judicious with your words. And that is a lesson I'm still learning at this point because I haven't lived with anybody. I've never been married, and it's quite frankly, somebody who stands by me in that and says, yes, I make room for your personhood. I know that you say these things. I try to be mindful of that, but it's a lesson I haven't quite learned yet. We've been talking a lot about marriage and relationships, but I am mindful of all the single women out there who are not in a relationship. They're not married. And I just wonder, how much does your relationship define you as a human being, as a woman? Like if your husband did go away, does that take part of your existence and who you are? Like who would you have been just as an individual?
That's a very hard question. I never really thought about it, but I would like to think I would be basically the same person that I am now, but maybe with a lot more time to do things that are not confined within the family or outside, especially when you get old, especially being older, because you're no longer taking care of children, doing those kind of things. So I would say the big difference would be being older, and I'm not really sure how to answer that question. I'm really not.
I'd imagine it's hard after being with someone
Yeah.
since you were 18.
Yes.
So it really is defining.
It is.
It strikes me that some women define their entire existence by being able to attract a man or attract a husband. Could you be happy if you never got if you were never chosen by your boyfriend, if you were single the rest of your life, do you think you would be okay?
If I were to lie to myself, I'd say yes. But if I were to be like very honest, I don't think so. Not in the sense of not being chosen, but wanting that companionship, like just wanting that person to come home to. Like even now, like I'll be out all day and I'm so excited to come home to someone. But in that same vein, I feel like it shouldn't have to define you. I feel like people should continue to try to live their lives and have their fun and not always seek something. And I truly do think that things happen to you when you're not actively looking for it, as like cheesy and cliche as that is. Like live your life and really develop who you are and who you want to be, because if you're not being real with yourself or you haven't really found yourself, how's anybody gonna really be able to mesh with you? I think your situation is a little different because you all grew up together, but now, friends 34, 35, you are yourself.
Yeah.
And ideally that person who you find is accepting you for you, and if that doesn't happen, you're still comfortable with you.
Yeah. We're starting relationships later.
Yes.
As
looks so different.
My peers started later. Your peers are starting even later. So yeah, it is. Look, I'll say for me, I do not think it is natural to connect and invest with someone mentally, spiritually, and physically, and not care if it works out or not. To just kind of be indifferent about it all. And it feels like in this younger generation, particularly, it's become kind of in vogue to just date multiple people and be indifferent about the whole thing. And I think that, to your point, goes against the human condition. It's just not what it is. And the expectations that younger people have, the new rules around dating. I want to come back to something that you said when you and your husband separated. How long were you separated?
I think we were separated about maybe 7 or 8 years.
Years?
Yes.
Wow. That's
And
I was
really
thinking months when you said that.
Oh no,
years.
When
That's a
we
long time.
actually separated, it would have been less than that. But the thing is that at one point, I moved to New Jersey to help my daughter. She got divorced, and I was there to help her with her son.
8 years is a long time to be
Yes.
apart from your spouse. And I imagine a lot of things can happen in nearly a decade. Um, I'm curious in relationships, what are your deal breakers? Like, because I feel like, sometimes people will swallow something that they're not really cool with, or, you tolerate something in the bigger picture. I guess the plain spoken way to say it is, what does your husband get away with?